In this video, I'm going to paint an old painting that I've only done a study in black and white, like I just barely sketched it in. And I never got to paint it, but I thought I would try it now, even though I don't have a reference photo. My name is Vita Evenson. I paint grease, and I talk a lot about creativity and how that can connect you back to your authentic self. Here I have a lightly toned canvas with burnt umber, and I'm just dividing it into the rule of thirds, which is, a pretty easy way to get to work with your composition. And I have this watercolor pencil, which is a pinkish color, which I'm just kind of blocking in the major shapes and trying to get reconnected to this area. Again, I'm going on memory, and I do remember it well, because when you actually go and paint outside plein air, when you even look at something as bland and indescript as, just a black and white with a couple of mid-tone grays in there of an underpainting, it really does connect you back to the area. And although many years have passed by since I've been here, I remember it very well. And so I'm coming in with the first shadow colors. I almost always start with the shadow colors, with the darks, and just kind of establish that continual dark shape, and just using the local color to begin with, to just to begin to put it together. My palette colors are just a basic limited palette. Oh, well, here you can see I'm bringing the trees up closer to the foreground, but in fact I actually pushed them back because it took away the space of the beehives, the bee boxes. I still don't know what they're called. I'll call them beehives. There you see I've got it pushed back. So I'm coming to this painting with the idea that because of the black and white underpainting that I did, and remembering this area, and I even remember the feel of the day. That's the cool thing about plein air painting. It's nothing like in the studio. It's a completely different feeling. And here's an example of, the plein air painting that I did back then. I don't even know where it is, but I know that it didn't turn out. I mean, I was in my beginner stages still. And so the painting is gone. But this is, 7 or 8 years ago when I went out and tried to paint this area. So I find it really exciting to be painting it again with the knowledge that I have today about painting and how to put a painting together. I'm just trying to get the shapes, not copying the shapes on the left and right side, keeping an imbalance, that balanced imbalance that I sometimes talk about. It's actually been a while since I mentioned that balanced imbalance. And what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, it's part of why you do a rule of thirds, so that you can keep things away from the center of the painting, especially in landscapes. And the other part of it is bringing together you know, like this tree shapes that I'm working on the back, on the left-hand side, I have to make sure I don't do the same size and shape on the right-hand side. That would be too much balance, and too much balance is boring. It just does not excite people, or me as the artist. Playing around with this background area, and it's giving me a couple of tries, switching around, trying to figure it out. How do I actually want to portray it? And so I keep working it and working it. When I got through this first stage of the painting, that background hill, I guess it would be midground, was just too yellow and just when I get through the first phase of this painting, of any painting, I come back and just assess what's going on. I hardly ever get it right the first time through in the first layer. Hardly ever. I actually can't remember a time when I got everything just right the way it should be. I'm always going in and adjusting and fixing. So the ability to come in and take your experience and put it into a painting that you have no reference photo for is really quite a joyful thing to do, because okay, it's not exactly what was there when I painted it, but I can make it work. And I like that. I like that because there is a part of painting that, you know, if you go with the Bob Ross kind of thing, oh, I think I'll put a tree here. Oh, what about some, you know, pretty little bushes, you know? And that is enjoyable. It absolutely is enjoyable when you're painting. And why not do it once in a while? You know, just make up your own scene. And no, you don't need to be an advanced artist. If you have those basic things, you know, of putting a painting together, just how to put a painting together, then you can play around and fiddle with it and muddle with it, especially in a study, because that's what studies are for, to give you the space to play, to try things out, to see how things work, if they work, and you can scrape them back, you can try again, and you know, it is a process. So I'm just getting in some of these little beehive boxes, and they're always so colorful. So I'm just getting a basic placement of the beehive boxes right now. So I've let the painting dry for a few days. It's kind of tacky right now to the touch, and I'm going to go back in and work on it a little bit more. Now this is a study. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it to get these beehive boxes kind of set up right. And I'm going to change the color of this one. I have to be really careful with this one here so that I don't overpower it and make it too strong, because my focal area is right here. And if I make this white or pink or something like that, and I don't work with the tonal value to keep it more grayed down, the eye is going to be pulled right to this area because of this shadow. This whole shadow area coming in here. And I really want this part to come through, and then moving back into the background. So I'm going to take a second pass over and see what we can do with it from there. If you like what I'm doing here, please click the like and subscribe button, and helps me get my channel growing and moving forward. And let's get on with the painting and see what we can do. So you can see that the back mid-ground hill is, the same value as the grass that I'm painting right now. So always remember that when you're painting the mid-ground grass area or weed area, the farther back you go, the lighter and more pale the grass becomes, or the land becomes. And it just gives it a better sense of depth going in. And you can see that I added a couple of other beehives, which I didn't film, so sorry about that. And I kind of go in and play around here and there and see what works and what doesn't work. And should I put those trees back there, or should I take them out? I decided to take them out. That's the fun part about a study, is that you really do have the freedom to play around and try things out. And it's important to try things out because you'll never really know what you can do if you don't just get in there and paint and get it going. So these boxes, these beehive boxes are always so colorful here in Greece, and so you have to be careful, just how colorful are you going to make them, and will it work? How will it work? So I go in and I'm adjusting and fixing, because again, I don't have a photo reference. This is just coming out of my head. And I keep relying on the things that I have learned over the years about how to paint a landscape. I rely on that creative voice inside of me that's saying, do this, do that. No, that's not right. And part of that is, of course, experience talking. But there are sometimes moments when that information coming to me is just a little bit, I don't know, feels like a more of a spiritual kind of connection. And I think a lot of you who understand or who paint really do understand that feeling of, something is going on here. There is something more than just my mind telling me what's going on. It's this, connecting to this creativity. And to me, it feels like a very, very real thing, even though it's something that you can't latch onto or even put in one of these boxes here, a beehive box, or even on your canvas. But it's a way to come and experience life, this creative energy, and really understanding the creative pathway, and begins with becoming aware of an idea of something and then bringing it down into your visual area where you can imagine things and fantasize about things and maybe feel some inspiration coming, and then figuring out ways to communicate that idea outwards, bringing it into the sound waves. And as we move down through the 7 major chakras, the creative pathway limits more and more and more. And you bring it into your solar plexus area, and now you're in the physical area, the physical realm, and your creativity is in fact limited, and it must be. This must be so. Otherwise, it'll just be thoughts and ideas and just whatever in your head and never actually become paint on a canvas. And, coming down to the 2nd chakra and working with that, taking the time on your painting on your canvas and putting it all together, and then you have a finished painting. You process it and push it out into the world, and that is the beautiful pathway of creativity I'm always talking about. So here it is, and I'm pretty happy with it, and I think I'm gonna paint it on a larger scale. So the purpose of taking the time of doing a study of something is so that you know what you're going to do when you get a large canvas out there up on your easel, and you don't want to ruin it. Maybe it's an expensive one. You already know what you're going to do. It doesn't mean the painting's going to turn out. It might not. But remember, when you come to your canvas, you come into this inner creative channel. You have your inspiration. You work with your creativity so that you can paint your authentic paintings. Have a great day, everyone. I'll see you next time.